On December 27, 1941, Lieutenant Colonel Jack Churchill landed at Vågsøy, Norway, wielding only a claymore and bagpipes. He fought and defeated Nazi soldiers without a rifle. Wait until you hear how this fearless warrior earned the name Mad Jack. John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill was born on September 16, 1906, in Hong Kong. He was educated at King William's College on the Isle of Man. He graduated from the Royal Military College, Sandhurst, in 1926 and was commissioned into the 2nd Battalion Manchester Regiment. Churchill served in Burma with the Manchester Regiment from 1926. He developed a reputation for unconventional behavior during his Burma service. He rode motorcycles across rough terrain, sometimes along railway tracks. In 1930, he drove over 1,500 miles from Rangoon to Pune, India, to take a signals course before roads existed in that region. Churchill served through the Burma Rebellion of 1930 to 1932. He received the Indian General Service Medal with Burma clasp for this service. During his time in Burma, he developed skills in bagpipes and archery. Churchill left the Army in 1936. He worked as a newspaper editor in Nairobi, Kenya, and as a male model. He continued developing his archery skills and took second place in the 1938 military piping competition at the Aldershot Tattoo. He used his archery talent to play a small role in the 1940 film The Thief of Baghdad. In 1939, he represented Great Britain at the World Archery Championships in Oslo, where he finished 26th. On September 1, 1939, Germany invaded Poland. Britain recalled its reserve officers when war became imminent. Churchill returned to active military service. He rejoined the Manchester Regiment and deployed to France with the British Expeditionary Force. In May 1940, German forces pushed Allied troops back toward Dunkirk during the Battle of France. Churchill participated in the retreat and fighting around Dunkirk. During this period, he conducted guerrilla tactics and staged raids against German forces. Churchill used his longbow in combat near the village of Lepanette. He positioned himself in a tower and watched German forces advance. He signaled an ambush by shooting a German sergeant through the chest with a barbed arrow from approximately 30 yards. 2 infantrymen from the Manchester Regiment opened fire immediately after Churchill's arrow struck the target. This is likely the last recorded longbow kill in military history. Churchill won his first military award during the Dunkirk operations. He survived being hit by machine gun fire during this period. By the time British forces evacuated from France, Churchill had established his pattern of unconventional warfare combined with aggressive tactics. Churchill joined No. 3 Commando in 1941 as second-in-command. The Commandos were specialized units trained for raids, amphibious assaults, and operations behind enemy lines. Most Commandos carried rifles, submachine guns, and grenades. Churchill carried a 36-inch Scottish claymore sword and Highland war bagpipes in addition to standard equipment. His position was unusual but not prohibited. He believed an officer should go into action properly dressed, which for him meant bringing his bagpipes. The claymore sword was a functional weapon, not ceremonial. Churchill intended to use both in combat. Operation Archery was planned as a combined raid on German positions at Vågsøy, Norway, on December 27, 1941. The operation targeted fish oil factories producing glycerin for explosives, garrison forces, and coastal defenses controlling North Sea shipping lanes. The raid involved Royal Navy destroyers, RAF bombers, and Commando ground forces. The Germans defended the position with approximately 150 soldiers from coastal defense units. The Allied force consisted of No. 3 Commando and supporting units totaling 576 men. Churchill commanded one landing element. The approach was made in darkness through fog. Temperature was 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Visibility was approximately 200 yards. Landing craft carried approximately 30 men each and approached the rocky shore at dawn. Churchill's landing craft hit the beach at approximately 6:47 a.m. The ramp dropped. Churchill moved forward playing March of the Cameron Men on his bagpipes while German defenders opened fire. The bagpipes were audible across the landing area. German machine guns targeted the sound and the visible landing force. Churchill continued playing while advancing toward German defensive positions. His unit followed behind him. They engaged German bunkers, machine gun nests, and fortified buildings with grenades, rifles, and submachine guns. The Germans had fortified Moly town with concrete bunkers and defensive positions. The Commandos fought through Moly town in close combat. Churchill used his claymore sword in multiple engagements at close range. He moved building to building with his men, clearing German positions. The sword was not ceremonial. Physical evidence recovered after the battle showed blood on the blade. Churchill personally engaged German soldiers with the claymore during building-clearing operations. Witnesses reported seeing him engage enemy soldiers at ranges under 10 feet. He used grenades and the sword in combination to assault fortified positions. His men followed his lead through the town's defensive network. The raid lasted several hours. The Commandos destroyed 4 factories, ammunition stores, fuel depots, and the telephone exchange. They sank 10 German vessels in the harbor. German casualties totaled approximately 150 killed or captured. Allied casualties across all units were 52, with significantly lower losses in Churchill's No. 3 Commando compared to other elements. Churchill personally captured multiple German soldiers during the fighting using his sword. The operation was considered successful and proved that combined operations could work against fortified coastal positions. The raid forced Germany to divert approximately 30,000 troops to Norwegian coastal defense. Churchill's commanding officer, Brigadier Charles Hayden, recommended him for the Victoria Cross. The recommendation was reviewed and downgraded to the Distinguished Service Order. The DSO was awarded in March 1942. The citation recognized his gallantry and leadership during Operation Archery. King George VI presented the medal at Buckingham Palace on April 3, 1942. Churchill continued operations throughout the war. In July 1942, he was promoted to lieutenant colonel and given command of No. 2 Commando. He led them in operations in Sicily and Italy in 1943. At Salerno, Italy, in September 1943, Churchill and one corporal infiltrated German-held positions ahead of the main commando force. They captured a German observation post and mortar crew using Churchill's sword. The Germans surrendered when confronted by Churchill with his sword drawn. Churchill then moved systematically through German defensive positions with his corporal, taking prisoners at each location. The capture method was direct. Churchill approached each position with his sword drawn, ordered the Germans to surrender, and moved them to a collection point guarded by the corporal. The 2 men captured 42 German soldiers and their weapons before returning to British lines. The prisoners included soldiers from multiple defensive positions who were moved and consolidated during the operation. Churchill and the corporal accomplished this without additional support or casualties. Churchill was recommended for the Victoria Cross for this action. The award was downgraded to a bar to his Distinguished Service Order, meaning a second DSO. The citation recognized the capture operation at Salerno. The reason for downgrading from the Victoria Cross recommendation was not officially explained in military records. Churchill fought in Yugoslavia in 1944 with Yugoslav partisan forces under Tito. In May 1944, his unit received orders to capture the island of Brock from German forces. The operation involved multiple commando units and partisan forces. The Germans had fortified positions with wire, mines, and defensive emplacements. Churchill led elements from 40 Commando in a flanking attack. The Commandos captured Point 622 but sustained heavy casualties. A German counterattack drove the Commandos back. Only Churchill and 6 others reached their objective during the counterattack. A mortar shell killed or wounded everyone except Churchill. Churchill was playing "Will Ye No Come Back Again" on his bagpipes as German forces advanced. Germans threw grenades that knocked him unconscious. He was captured. German military intelligence believed Churchill might be related to Prime Minister Winston Churchill. He was not related. Germans flew him to Berlin for interrogation based on this assumption. After interrogation proved he had no valuable intelligence, he was transferred to Sachsenhausen concentration camp near Berlin. At Sachsenhausen, Churchill was chained to the floor for 1 month. In September 1944, Churchill and RAF officer Bertram James escaped through an abandoned drain or tunnel. Their objective was to reach the Baltic coast. They were recaptured near the coast, only a few miles from their goal. Churchill was transferred to a more secure camp in Niederdorf, Austria, in April 1945. In April 1945, Churchill took advantage of failed lighting in the camp one evening. He slipped away into the forest and headed toward the Alps. This escape was successful. He walked approximately 93 miles to Verona, Italy, to rejoin Allied forces. After Germany's surrender in May 1945, Churchill volunteered for service against Japan. He trained as a parachutist and made his first jump on his 40th birthday. He qualified for airborne operations and was assigned to Burma. He arrived after the atomic bombs ended the war in August 1945. Churchill reportedly expressed disappointment that the war had ended. He served in British-occupied Palestine from 1946 to 1948, coordinating evacuation operations during the conflict there. One incident involved an Arab attack on a Jewish medical convoy. Churchill attempted intervention but was unable to prevent casualties. Churchill retired from active military service in 1959 with the rank of lieutenant colonel. His complete military record included the Distinguished Service Order with Bar, the Military Cross with Bar, and campaign medals from Burma, World War II operations, and Palestine. After retirement, he worked as an instructor at military colleges in Australia, teaching land-air warfare. He spent years in this role before returning to England. Jack Churchill died on March 8, 1996, at age 89 in Surrey, England. He was buried with military honors. His claymore sword is displayed at the Commando Museum in Scotland. Photographs and records from Operation Archery and other operations remain in the Imperial War Museum archives. Churchill's military record is documented through official citations, witness statements, and after-action reports. His distinguished service orders for Vågsøy and Salerno are recorded in military archives. His use of bagpipes and sword in combat operations is verified by multiple Commando veterans who served with him. His service demonstrates that unconventional methods could be effective within conventional military operations when applied by an experienced officer who understood both tactics and timing. Churchill did not avoid standard combat. He participated fully in every operation while adding his own methods to established commando procedures.